Alright guys, so I just came back from the hardware store. I had to make a quick 2 trips. I picked up these washers right here because I obviously made the holes a little bit bigger. So I needed washers to go over the heads, make sure these bolts don't pop through. I ran there twice because I tried to experiment with some washers and see, for the sake of the video, what would be the easiest route. And so far this looks to be the easiest route. So I'm not even going to show you the other route I went with. But anyway, these are 1/4 inch hole size washers, and they're lock washers. And the reason for that is because when you put the washer, let me do this here, it's kind of hard when I'm recording, through the bolts like here, and you drop it in the hole. See, it kind of fits in there perfectly on that hole anyway. But on some of these other holes that are a little bit wider, for instance that one, it's going to kind of drop down and recess in there. Not necessarily the way I want it to be, but I plan on getting this in first and straightening it out and then screwing it down. The problem is, if I would have went with a bigger washer, it would have hit the side right here, and it would have thrown the bolt off whack. And that's the point. We don't have a lot of room to work with, so that's why I went with this washer. So again, 1/4 inch lock washer. I'm going to try to bolt it on. We'll see how it goes. Quick little hack real quick, save you guys some time. So as you can see, the screen has some grease on it. That's actually marine grease is what I use. That's why it's green, but I can't. It's a real pain in the neck to try to get the screen to stay in place while putting the bolts through. So what I did is I put some grease on the back side of the exhaust tip, and as you can see, that'll hold that screen in place so I can put the bolts through. So just some marine grease. When it gets hot, it's not going to cause a fire or anything. It's going to burn off. Probably about the safest thing I could use. And it's oiled, so obviously tape's not going to work or anything like that, and you risk causing smoke and a horrible smell with that. So just a little marine grease on the side of the tip. Put the screen on and then hold it into place. Alright guys, finally got it on. So we're going to see what it sounds like. Real quick, I'll show you. It's definitely interesting to get on. A little bit of a job. As you can see, the top one went on good, which is the one I made sure to put on first, because obviously it's the hardest to get to. And then I put this one on second, and then that one on last. Even doing it that way, this bolt is somewhat at an angle, as you can see, and it's just snugged down because it's at an angle. I don't want to destroy the threads. I couldn't cut that hole in anymore because then it'd be actually cutting into the tailpipe. That's as close as I could get it. I'm okay with that. I'll ride it. I've got a stock baffle, an exhaust tip, and hardware, so if it blows off or if I don't like it, I'll just replace it. But anyway, so let's see what it sounds like. Sounds pretty good from the back. You can definitely feel it a little bit more than you could before. I wouldn't say it's a great deal louder than it was before, but you can definitely feel it a little bit more. And when you're right down here, sounds pretty good. So anyway, that's the exhaust tip. I'm not disappointed in there for the money, but it was definitely trial and error. Now that there's a video on how to do it, maybe it'll be a little easier for somebody who wants to do it. But I would have liked a better fit, but that's what I get for buying an exhaust tip for a, I think it was 07 to 13 Grizzly 700. Well, again, just to recap, I widened it out with a, I believe it was a 3/8. Yeah, I widened it out with a 3/8, and I bought 1/4-inch washers, block washers. Even doing it that way, the last bolt, instead of it going straight in, it went in at an angle. But I got it through to where it started to kind of firm up, and then I gave it another little crank, and the lock washer snapped in. So I'm confident in that because the other two bolts, the one at the top and the one at the bottom, those two are on tight and they are holding. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere, and I'm pretty happy with it. Again, it depends if you don't mind tinkering and figuring things out. It was $23, and I maybe got about another $5 worth of hardware into it. So figure $30 plus maybe, well, now that you know how to do it and you know what to do, maybe an hour of your time, hour and a half of your time, then you can make your exhaust tip fit instead of spending $100 plus shipping. Let's hear this thing again. So like I said, it's up to you if it's worth your time or not. You can spend about $100, $120 and buy the whiskey bent tip, and it's worth it. It'll bolt right on. The quality is amazing, but I can tell you probably the hardest thing about this whole job, the hardest thing about this whole exhaust tip was making sure the spark arrestor stays in place. And a lot of you guys might say, oh, you don't need a spark arrestor, and that's fine. But we ride in areas where they may check to make sure you at least have a spark arrestor, just because there's parts of New York, some of the areas we ride in are protected lands, and they want to make sure you're not going to burn it down. So anyway, that is a exhaust tip for, I believe it was an 07 to 13 Yamaha Grizzly 700. I paid $23 for it from eBay, and then I got about $5 worth of additional hardware. But that includes the cost of some Dremel bits and stuff I use to clean up the holes. So I would say for maybe $30 in about an hour of your time, maybe less, now that there's a video on it, you can put an exhaust tip on your CF Moto. I would suggest washing your machine because I'm covered in dirt and I've got to go to work. Anyway, it's been a pleasure making the video for you guys. I'm happy with it. I'll keep you all updated. Next thing that will be coming down the pipeline will be air dam clutch installation. Pretty stoked about that. So stay tuned. Next video, hopefully, if everything goes as planned, next video will be air dam clutch installation. We're looking for mid and low range power increases on this monster. So stay tuned for the clutch install. Performance clutch will be next. You guys are awesome. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks.